A bit late today, mate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. We're late,
Yeah.
so we'll just wait a bit to let people catch up with us.
Yeah, to get on. Let's have a look on the team. Better not be blasting out like it usually does. You know what they do.
Let's just see now.
Yes. Yeah, it's all right.
Where is it?
Mine.
Coming up on here.
Not coming up on your phone.
Get that. I'll go back in
Yeah.
again. So, oh, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're live. Couple people are on.
Yeah, we'll just give it like not long,
Yeah.
couple of
Few
minutes,
bits.
literally,
Yeah.
and then we'll get going.
Mm-hmm.
And we hope that we'll get a few participatory comments so we can keep it moving.
Yes, we like the comments. It's juicier.
All right. So let's start with the discussion about the chap who shot his girlfriend, shot his ex-wife, and then shot himself.
Yeah.
So let's begin there. Good place to begin, I think, isn't it?
Definitely.
I don't know how many people have watched the video I put on my page, and it's okay. Whoever watched it, cool. And if you didn't watch it, cool. Very unfortunate thing that happened. It was USA, but this black guy, basically, for those who haven't seen it, he had been fighting with his ex-wife for 3 years to be able to, well, he said custody, but what he actually meant was to be able to have access to his children so he could have them stay with him, he could take them out places, etc. Because she had apparently lied. Okay, Susan got long, but listening for a little while. Yeah. Cool. So apparently she had said that he had submitted her to domestic violence and he had molested the children. So historically, there have been several charges which were laid against him, and all of them, in every case, all the charges were dropped. This was a professional man. He was a nurse, anesthesiologist.
Said, can you speak up, please? Volume very low.
Maybe she needs to switch up there.
Yeah.
Because we're quite close. So
yeah, it should be able to pick us up quite easily.
Should do. I think anyway, I speak. Okay, we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
She can tell us in a minute if it's any louder. So he basically was fighting with her, got himself a new girlfriend, got her pregnant. She knows the history clearly, well, because he probably talked about it.
Yeah.
And then said the same thing. I'm gonna call the police on you, get you arrested for domestic violence, and said it's better. And that's that. So this guy flipped. It's a professional person working in a caring environment, and he flipped. So people who have decided to comment, as people always do after the fact, watching a video like that, there were several comments I read through just to see what people were saying. Oh, it's his fault. He's an animal. He's a beast. he should go to hell. There are all sorts of, this was also Christians even, and all of this. So he killed himself, so he should go to hell. He's a murderer. Well, technically speaking, yes and no. And why am I saying yes and no? I'm not condoning the shooting,
No,
of course.
Yeah.
However, what some people said, and I also agree with, is that there's more than one side to every story. And to only look at it from the perspective of, well, he was violent and that's that. And if he wasn't violent, he wouldn't have shot anybody. No, that doesn't always follow.
No, it doesn't.
Some people are actually not violent throughout their life and they actually flip.
Yeah.
Now, for those of us who are Christians and spirit-filled people, maybe, we probably are going to say, well, that's demonic. And in some cases, it is exactly that.
Exactly.
For those who don't look at anything as demonic, that's not what they're going to say anyway.
No.
They're just going to say he flipped.
It's a mental
disorder. And they've said, oh, he was mentally unwell, etc.
Yeah.
And was getting help. But obviously, whatever kind of help he was getting, it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
But the other side of it that people are not looking at is the pressure that he may well have also been under for not being able to see his children.
Yeah.
Which does affect a man's mental health.
Of course.
And it affects him as a person, in general. And now people say, oh, well, that doesn't really, but here's the thing, which people don't like to answer this, but when that child has been born and has, a mother and a father, what necessarily gives the mother more right over the child than the father? You tell me.
You know what people say.
I'm a father. He's one of my daughters.
Well, people like to say now, innit? Because right now, this era is of the glorification of women, innit? Over men.
That's it.
So right now they'll say, oh well, I carried the child in my stomach for 9 months,
and you did not.
Blah blah blah. But it's like there would be no child to carry if it wasn't for the man as well. Where it's an equal thing. It's not just the woman has more rights over the child, and then of course the child needs the mother, but they also need the father as well. Both parents are important. You can't put one over the other. It's not right. And when people do that, still till now they do it where, the dad he's not, you know what I mean? Forget the dad. He's not important. I don't need my dad. But really, when you see who they are as a person and how they behave, that
they really did need their dad.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to put a little spanner in the works for some people, but many will understand what I'm going to say. And that's this. As far as we understand, in terms of what the world, when I say the world, those who know me, they know I'm a Christian. So when I say the world, I mean non-Christian.
Yeah.
And okay, I know that's an old-fashioned terminology, but those who know, they know. So those people then who do not follow the Bible, let's put it that way, and there's many, for them, the agenda is everybody is the same. Everybody is equal. If you're a man, you're a woman. If you're a woman, you're a man.
Yeah.
If you're in between, you're still whatever that is.
Yeah.
So for them, everybody is equal, right? So this is where the problem actually begins. If you now decide we're all the same, in the agenda of the world, you don't need a father.
Yeah.
You can just be raised, as they tell you, by even two women. Or in the agenda of the world, you don't need a mother. You can just be raised by two men.
Yeah.
Well, let me put it right up front and now. That's hogwash. I don't agree with it. It's trash. Nurture and nature proves that it's trash. And I'm not even going to argue the point. If anybody wants to argue the point, go ahead. Say what you're going to say. Right? But as far as I'm concerned, they need one parent of each gender.
Yeah.
And when I say gender, I mean a man and a woman.
Yeah.
All right? And don't make me go more specific to tell you what that actually means. I hope I don't have to go there. All right? But we know what the man's equipment is supposed to be. and we know what the woman's equipment is supposed to be,
Mhm.
and they are not the same,
Yeah.
and they are not interchangeable. And this is where the issue is really, because if we were to look at this from a spiritual perspective,
Yeah.
it is deliberate.
They are deliberately.
You know, they want to erode the family.
The family
And
unit.
America is worse than the UK,
Yeah.
but the UK is following right behind.
And fast.
You know, and yeah, you might think, oh well, why are we starting from there? Because this is where we need to start from, at what the governmental system is doing,
Mhm.
because they, you know, they are favouring women.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're favouring single parenthood.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
That's what they're setting it up for.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's why when it's a problem where the mother has a serious issue, then they straight away favour the father. So if the mother has some sort of mental issue, illness, or maybe she's not, you know, she has problems with herself. Maybe she's drug.
But you're talking UK.
Yeah.
America
She's
is a
an
little bit
addict
different.
or something like that. Then suddenly the father, they can look at the father and then, oh yes, the father can have custody. And that's why everybody knows when somebody is full custody with their father, something is not quite right with the mother. And everybody knows it. You don't have to ask the person, oh, what happened with your mum, because you know it's going to be some sort of tragic story.
Some trauma.
Yeah, some traumatic
some
story.
major issue.
Yeah.
Because in the UK, generally speaking, they would like to give shared parental responsibility to both parents. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, because some people don't even know what that actually means.
Yeah.
But you know, let's live in the real world. We are living in a world where guys are getting girls pregnant and they're not wanting to stay with them.
Yeah.
Or girls even are becoming pregnant and don't want that guy around.
Yeah.
That's the real world. Let's not pretend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every child now, you know, and from time ever, is not being born in a marriage. You know, there are some who are being born, and there's already conflict even before the child is born.
Mm-hmm.
As in the case of this guy who was arguing with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And to the point where he's taken a gun and killed her.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's no justification for it, but you've got to look a little deeper. Just to turn around and say he's a savage and let's leave it at that is kind of stupid. There's more to it than that.
Because somebody who's a trained nurse, anesthesiologist, yeah, of that level, there's clearly something going on. If they were to go and suddenly, all of a sudden, be shooting off people that they love.
He has an understanding of people in general from the work that he does. He has some kind of understanding and empathy. So where did all of that disappear to?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's, you know, everybody will have their own opinion about it, because just, you know, he's a savage and that's it. He shouldn't have done it. Well, okay, fine. But the issue now, in terms of the baby fathers and mothers, you know, there are some people, particularly the men, who really do struggle. Some of the struggle comes because they don't know exactly what to do. They don't know what their rights are.
Yeah.
You know, and some of it comes because the women are absolutely diabolical.
Yeah. And use the child as a weapon.
Mm-hmm. And this is where the problem actually starts.
Mm-hmm.
When you then use those children and weaponize them.
Yeah.
I will teach you a lesson through your children.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a very, very common thing, both here and in the USA and probably elsewhere.
Yeah.
Just that the difference is in some certain countries, men can deal with it in a slightly different way. I'm not saying it's good, but they can.
Mm-hmm.
So let's use USA and UK mainly. Then they'll be telling you you'll never see your children again.
Yeah.
Well, unless that man actually is an absolute danger to his children, you have no right to do that or say that.
Yeah.
None at all. You don't have to like him, but you chose to make children or a child with him.
Yeah.
So you've got to live with that.
Forever, he's the child's father.
That's right.
Not gonna change.
That's not going to change. Even if he died, he's still the father of that child.
Yeah.
and that connection between you is also everlasting.
Yeah.
Because if we go even on a spiritual basis, you have made a human being that will never die. What does she do? Go on.
Susan said, just sent an invite to my son, Isaac Jr. Hope he is able to join soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, he did a podcast about his story, and I watched it. It was very interesting.
Oh, I'll have to have a look.
You know, but you don't have any right to actually say. And the thing is that we are in a time where this is happening a lot now.
Yeah, all the time.
I don't know. I mean, you know, the news, the media, whatever you want to call it, they choose to report what they feel like, and they try to steer you towards a certain understanding of what they want you to to think about. But the reality is that there actually is quite an increase, you know, where single parenthood is concerned, and conflict between baby fathers and baby mothers.
Yeah,
there's a lot of it, you know, and even that, you know, some of it is domestic violence related, some of it is not.
Yeah,
quite a lot of it is lies.
Yeah, it's just conflict between the parents where they're just arguing, and then they start taking it out, like I said, using the child as a weapon. I don't want to chat to you, so I'm not coming to pick up my child. The father's side or the mother's side, I don't want to chat to you, so you ain't getting to see your child. Yeah, you
know, and then sometimes they need to use the court system. I mean, obviously we're garbling through this quite quickly, but we'll see what will come back when people start making some comments.
Yeah,
you know, they'll go through the court system, let's say, and not everybody can get legal aid.
Yeah, no.
A lot of women, and this is an unfortunate truth, but it is a truth. A lot of women have been advised and told, maybe I'm using the word advised inadvisedly, but they have been informed then, let me say, that if they have been a victim of domestic violence or any type of abuse, they will most likely get legal aid. So you will find that there are many women who all of a sudden hold up their hand. He's beating me up. He's abusing the children. Yeah. But what they're not thinking of is the weight of that label.
Yeah.
You know, you're labeling this man as an abuser. Oh, he's molesting his children. That has far-reaching effect. That will last his whole life.
Yeah.
You're labeling him as a domestic abuser. He beats up women. I don't know what. That's a label that will last his whole life.
Yeah.
You know, you're turning him maybe into a paedophile.
Yeah.
Or you're turning him into some violent person. So every single time people are checking back through his record, violence, violence, violence,
because
child
every
abuse,
day you're reporting him, even though it could even be that you were the one that was also fighting and starting and beating on him.
That's right.
But because then he's done it back, straight away you're reporting him.
Well, you know, I'm going to come on to the statistics a little bit in a minute.
Yeah.
At least UK ones anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But this chap, you know, the one who excuse me, I've got a nail that's bothering me. He's decided to just jump out of the way. You know. Oh Lord. And yeah, I don't actually have a nail file in my pocket. You know, so.
Be good if we did, isn't it?
So yeah, you know, the guy that shot him, the wife, and the girlfriend and himself. The wife had several times reported him for abuse. I think also when I read, you know, the antecedents, there's a time where I think she also had been reported for abuse. In all cases, all charges drop. But it leaves a stigma.
Of course.
So for some time, when the courts were investigating, and, you know, just so people understand, because they probably don't, the way that the system works, USA and UK, similarly, when that accusation comes, the law tends to jump down on the man quite heavily.
Yeah.
Even in the initial stages. if he is absolutely and specifically not guilty, that's really hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Obviously, if they're guilty, that's a different ball game, and we can talk about that as well. But
Mhm.
when they're actually not guilty, it's really hard for them to deal with.
Yeah.
Let's say for the UK, for instance, a girlfriend or a ex-partner, wife, whatever, rings police. Yeah, he's boxed me up, beaten me, and it's not the first time, and he's threatened me, and blah 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 blah. So along comes the police, and especially when she mentions the one thing that most people do not want to talk about, but I'll talk about it because hey, look here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the truth.
Right? They mentioned the color of the skin. Along comes a big van full of police, or 8 police turn up, or however many
Fast
cars or
as
whatever. And I'm saying that because I know, because I've been through some of it personally.
Mm.
They'll turn up in full force because you've told them it's a man of color.
Mm.
So here they come, trundling in, boom, 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 boom. Get out, right? We're going to arrest you. She said ABC about you. Boom.
Yep.
They clamp the man and he's gone. Now, what usually happens in almost every case, he's gone from that house and he's not allowed to return.
Mm. Yeah. Or
Right?
he'll be arrested.
He's not allowed to return. So he's not allowed to go back to his house. If he even wants to collect his clothes, somebody else will have to get them.
Mhm.
They'll cut off contact with him and his wife. They'll cut off contact with him and his children.
Mhm.
So never mind about even can I have contact with them, through social services. Oh no, that all takes time. That's that. So for now, nothing.
Nothing for that time.
The children, depending on their age, may not understand what's going on.
Yeah.
What's the reason why my dad is not around anymore? What's the reason why I can't speak to him and he can't speak to me? He can't even make a phone call.
Yeah.
I can't phone him. He can't phone me. And they like, oh no, don't phone him. You're not allowed to phone your dad. Your dad can't phone you.
Yeah.
Some children, they're too young to really understand the dynamics of that.
Mm.
And then of course you've got those who are older who will go and do it behind somebody's back. Yeah. So you've got all this going on, and there's like, well, right, well, this is what the government says. This is what the police should do: lock you off. So then
the government doesn't know best.
Then he has to fight his way through the system.
Yeah.
To prove himself innocent. To fight his way back to get access to his own children, his own flesh and blood. And sometimes if the mother is like, look, this is what he did, ABC, and presents herself as an okay person, maybe color also doesn't necessarily come into that.
Yeah.
She'll be just okay. The children will just be there with her. She'll still be in the, maybe in the family home if it's a marriage particularly, or they're already living together. And he's out trying to find somewhere else to live, gone to stay at his brother's or his mum's or cousins or wherever. No access to his children. And some people say, well, what if he's guilty? Yeah. So you say, what if he's guilty? I could also say, what if he is not guilty?
Yeah. It still doesn't. Right? It's not the right way to handle the situation, is it? To be cutting the person off from their children.
And that's the big thing, because now comes a situation where he's then, pressured mentally, because in a lot of cases, these men will be cut off from their children. They can't speak to them, can't see them, don't have any access to them, but they're still paying hundreds of pounds per month.
Yeah.
And some of the mothers are actually enjoying that torment.
Yeah.
Sorry to say.
Yeah.
And yes, we are going to switch it as well and talk about the fathers too. And some of them with their nasty behaviors, because it's not all it's not one-sided either, and I'm never one-sided. But I'm just starting where I'm starting. And like I said, anyone who has any comments, drop them in whenever you want. Yeah. Whatever you think or see of how you see it or what you have experienced you might have. But then, the mental pressure, the financial pressure.
Yeah.
Quite often it will be the case that, the man will then maybe, if there is a breakdown in relationship, he'll go off, he's trying to start another family somewhere. And he's got now this whole, sometimes pretty unbalanced financial situation.
Yeah.
You're talking you're talking sometimes real serious pressure.
Mhm.
Let me give us a small example. It might be something like, you know, the mother is living hundreds of miles away from where the father lives,
Yeah.
and then expects him to come visit his child, but makes everything extremely awkward.
Yeah. Makes it hard.
You know,
Doesn't give any type of leeway or put any effort herself, but expects
yeah,
the full effort from the father, and the father must pay for everything, and he also must pay to travel all the
hmm
way there, and can't take the child anywhere. He must just see the child there and then return to wherever
yeah.
he's gone.
It would be something stupid
Yeah,
like
some it's
you come
Mhm.
and you must have access to the child from 10 a.m.
Mm,
until 4 p.m. or something.
yeah,
You know,
something
some
silly.
stupid
Then you
nonsense.
drop them back.
Now, and then you'll get things like the mother will say, "Oh, the child is very small. I don't think he can look after the child." And yeah, there may be a small minority of cases where that's true,
Mm,
but in most cases, that's a load of rubbish.
of course.
He's no less capable of looking after his child than you are as
Mm.
a female, because you didn't say the child is too young and he can't breastfeed the child. That's
No.
fine,
Yeah.
because that one he ain't going to be able to do.
Mm-mm.
Even if he has breast, there's no milk coming out of them,
No. Yeah.
right? So that one, fine, you win on that one, okay? But if it's no, he can't change the nappies and he can't, you know, make sure the child is safe and well, you're talking rubbish.
Of course.
First of all, as a man, this is me speaking as a man, all right? And if you don't agree, that's your business. As a man, it's his responsibility
To know.
to know about the safety of his child.
Yeah.
So, as far as I'm concerned, for those women who say, "Oh no, he can't keep the child safe," you're talking a lot of rubbish. Because as a father, that's my responsibility
Yeah.
to keep my children safe, and I'll do everything and anything, including hunting them down on the street when they've gone places where they think I don't know where they are, and they're not. And I mean, you know, in this day and age, people have got phones.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm talking in the days when there's no mobile phones. I'll still find them. Yes, Simone, you can laugh because you know. And what's that say there?
True, yeah, talk, John. Yes, Zach, I put the laugh face.
Right? And my children, they know because I'm a real father. So it's
Yeah.
my responsibility to
be
make
seeing
sure I
what's going
know
on.
my
Yeah.
children are safe. So you woman, I don't think you can. Don't bother.
Yeah. Why you obviously have poor taste then?
You know,
in men.
because
Because if you already
exactly.
think he can't look after the child.
Why
or do
did you
anything,
lay down
why
with
did
him and
you-
become
why
pregnant?
Did you let him be the dad?
Because you didn't tell the police that he raped you.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
Yeah. She said,
No, what's that?
"Oh, that's Sunita." Oh,
I know it's Anita. I know.
Yeah.
I know it's Anita, Simone. I know.
Yeah, it's the truth.
It's the truth.
These women, they choose these crusty men, right? And let's be realistic. This is a lot of the case. A lot of these cases, it's the truth. They choose these crusty men because maybe certain circumstances,
Bad boy
like,
syndrome
yeah,
or whatever.
bad boy syndrome,
you know?
which is coming from their own issues with their own father not being around. Then, or it could be maybe he has money, so they're thinking, oh yeah, this is
They'll yam out his pocket and scam him. And when the scamming don't work, everybody's in a problem now.
Yep.
Suddenly he's boxing. And sometimes, unfortunately,
Yeah.
that man who got scammed did box the woman.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's right, but I'm just saying don't put the thing in an imbalance.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't do anything. I'm a perfect angel and he's a savage from hell.
Yeah.
You're a liar.
Yeah.
You're a liar.
I'm not being funny, but people now look at, say, like that lady, that old lady recently who killed off her husband. Yes, stabbed him off hard as well. And when people first saw the case, they were saying, "Oh, she's a psychopath. You know, she's not well. She's disgusting," because she said she rang the police as soon as she did it and said, "Oh yeah, I've stabbed him. Should have stabbed him a bit more, actually." Then when they've looked into the case, what did they find? Many reports of people close to them saying that she was being abused every single day by her husband for over 20 years. Yeah. So then suddenly the comments changed, didn't they? then suddenly it was, oh, you know, we're not saying it's right what she did, but you can understand being under that amount of pressure and abuse for all them years. Yeah. So if in that case you can see why somebody has committed such an act, then why can't you see it when it's the same for a man?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it different suddenly then? What? Because he's a man. But I thought we were moving away from these stereotypes of the genders. Yeah, they only work when they want it to.
But they
that
work.
was annoying.
They work. You see, you see, in all of this, there's a hard place to go to that people don't want to go to, right? And the hard place that people do not want to go to is to talk about the fact that there are powers, let's put it that way, let me call them powers. When I say powers, I mean governments.
Yeah.
Who wish to destroy families.
Yes.
Firstly and foremostly, and I'm not going to mince my words, they wish to destroy the families of people of color. And when I say people of color, I mean people who look like me. Because I don't like using the term black. Because I'm not black. And black is a negative political connotation. And I do not use that term. All right? But I mean people who look like me.
Yeah.
When I say people who look like me, I mean exactly that, the skin color. And also culture.
Yeah.
Because when we then take those things out of it, there are Indians, for instance, who look like me in color, but their culture is different. And so they decide that they are different. And they think that means that they are not black, which is why I don't use the term black. All right. So just in case anybody didn't know, whoever's listening or whoever will listen, that's why. Most who know me, they know what I mean when I say it.
Shane wrote a comment, said Babylon. Talking about the government.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Because they deliberately want to destroy families, and particularly the ones who look like us.
Yeah.
So as soon as they hear something like this, they jump on it. Now, let me give you a couple of statistics. There's more to come, but just throw this out there. Let me see if you know. Let me ask you.
Okay, go on.
Who do you think, as in black, the political term, which is black Caribbean, black African, these are their contrived governmental boxes.
Yeah.
White or mixed. And when I say mixed, we mean mostly white and black Caribbean. Of those four groups, who do you think has the most domestic violence?
Well,
statistically.
Maybe mixed.
Go on, elaborate.
I think maybe mixed because a lot of the time what you can find is Israel said white. I think maybe mixed because a lot of the time what you find is that sometimes when, like, say a parent, like let's say it was a white mother and then a like maybe Jamaican father or something like that. The cultures mixing together can sometimes not work, especially if the mother is not really trying to blend the cultures. She's more trying to have this child. Yes, she's had this child with a man of color, but to her child is still white because it came from her. So then I feel like sometimes a lot of issues can be born out of that identity crisis that's going on inside the household,
inside the family. You're right.
Israel,
you are wrong.
So I was right.
The highest prevalence is in the mixed relationships.
I knew it.
And to me, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that because I'm against mixed relationships. I'm just trying to prove a point that people want to pretend isn't there.
Yeah.
Because remember, you've also got maybe, let's say, for instance, you've got a black man that picks himself a nice, shapely white girl, nice boobs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dressed nicely, nice makeup, ready.
Yeah.
He's like,
a nice
so he picked himself a dolly.
Yeah.
That's cool. So him and the dolly are okay. until mummy says, I don't want any black bastard babies. But mummy didn't say it to you. She only said it to the dolly.
Yeah.
You understand? So now the dolly has that in her head anyway.
Yeah.
Because mummy said it. I didn't want any black bastard grandchildren.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, I don't. You just have your fun with him and then you know, don't marry him or anything. You've got all this going on. Now you say, oh, that was in the 60s and whatever. No, it's still now.
Yeah,
it's still now. So the dolly brings her black boyfriend, and I'm using the term black for the political sake, brings her black boyfriend along to a family gathering. And all of the family are staring him out, looking at him and wandering around and thinking, oh.
Or making
and then maybe he tries to behave like a bit of a coconut just to try and appease them and fit in. And that's all cool. That's your bag if you want to behave like that.
That's your choice to make. Yeah.
But what happens now? Boom, she's pregnant, bam, and she has a child.
Yeah.
Now, they take ownership of the child because the child has their blood. Okay, they may not have wanted the child and didn't want one with colour in it, but they feel, and I'm sorry, but it is what it is. They feel like, oh, well, it's got our blood as well, so the superiority of our blood will make that child different.
Yep.
And when they relate to the child, they relate to the child as a white man or a white woman, you know, a white person. But what they're forgetting is that if that child has black blood, they are black.
Yeah.
Because that's what society will treat you as and determine you as. They don't care about any of the other, oh, well, you know, he has white granny and blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Doesn't mean anything. You know, they don't care. They don't care.
If your grandmother is white or your mother is white, you are black, and that is it.
Let me read what Israel put here.
I didn't even see.
Exactly. Got an English girl, I'm one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's true because even like my friend, like more than likely she's probably gonna end up with mixed race children. But her mother, her family, you know what I mean? They're not really a family that are going to be wanting or accepting that. Yeah.
To get some water. Let's keep chatting a bit.
Yeah, her family are not a family that will accept that she wouldn't mind. She doesn't care what color, skin tone the person that she has children with, whoever she loves and marries is whoever it is. And she already told her family this because of course she knows their behavior. So she pre-warned them. She has already pre-warned them and said, my child will more than likely not be white. I'm just letting you know from now. Then the mother said, oh, well, why? I don't understand. All this sort of conversation. And then saying, oh, well, if you get with a black man, it will be, I can't even remember what she said. Something like, oh, he won't be staying. He won't be looking after his children. Yeah, all this sort of chat is coming from the mum who was a white woman, and of course has white children and do you know what I mean? White husband, white parents. I think there's maybe only one brown person in the whole entire family, and once again, because it's of a negative situation, that's what they base every person of color now on, that one person who has had a child with somebody in the family. That's now the blueprint for everybody. So because he didn't do his duty and stay as a father, and he was an abusive person, now every single person who's not white and comes into their family, he must be trash, and he's not going to be staying. He won't stay. This is the comment that was made. He won't stay. He won't be around to look after his children. And this is now. I'm talking today. Yeah, my friend. You know what I mean? This is not back in the day, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. No, this is 2021 that these comments are being made and spoken about, 2021. And they still believe that deeply. And you know for a fact that they wish that she wouldn't. They wish for her to be with somebody white. and to have white children, so that then they can have white grandchildren, and they don't have to be forced to not see brown people or colored people as in a negative light, in a negative form. This is the reality now, and it's quite sad, because can you imagine, that's your family, you're in a family, and your parents, and it's vice versa for even people of color, the same thing. Oh, I don't want you would know white person, and etc. Yeah, or even Asian person, as they call it. Oh, I don't want you would know Asian person. The white families, I don't want you would know terrorist, as they call them, and all them sorts of things. Like, and you're a fool to think that won't affect the relationship between the two people, especially if that person, who I'm talking the mother or whoever is the white person, is not a strong person. That is going to affect the relationship and the relationship between the child as well.
That's right.
It's going to affect the whole situation.
And obviously, we've dug a little deeper than some people want to go, because they don't try to look at that as any reasoning behind why the so-called domestic violence and issues arise.
Yeah.
And there may actually not be anything physical that's happened, but it might be, just literal verbal stuff, which can also be very bad.
Yeah.
And there can be a lot of it. And the problem is that, what's he saying there? Statistics. Get the word out.
Oh yes, I saw this statistic, Israel. It says statistics came out a few months ago around Euro 2020 football games which took place this year, that when England lose a game, domestic violence goes up by about 37%, and when they win, domestic violence still goes up by about 26%. That's crazy. And then Angel has said, I don't know why it's frozen, like it ain't playing. They're trying it. They're trying us here. Yeah, look.
Words,
it's not frozen.
Words are powerful. It may be spoken in jest, but can turn hearts dark.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the problem, because one of the things, and I'm not sticking on this forever, but I'm just trying to highlight some things, because that's why we do what we do, because we try to highlight some of the things that people don't want to talk about. They don't want to look at some of the areas. So, for instance, you have a child who is from a black parent and a white parent. So, technically, in the mind of the parents, this is our child. She's neither black nor white. He's our child. But that's not what society will say.
No.
So you may be, at least in the UK, maybe in certain other places it might be slightly different. But at least in the UK, you might be in a situation where you're defending your child from racism, which does not happen to you. Because you're white, let's say, for instance, your child is not white, even though you think your child is white, your child is not white. And this is where also the issues come. The identity crisis makes the whole family erosion situation even worse. Because now, let's say, for instance, mum, well, I don't see color. Well, and then the dad is thinking, but I'm a black man and you're with me. We made a child or children, and you're saying you don't see color. So what do you see of me then? Now you're just a man. It doesn't actually work like that. That's rubbish.
Of course it is.
And then you're saying that your child goes to school and they call your child a black bastard.
Then what are you telling the child?
And then you're trying to work out, what should I say? Because, I don't want to say that white people, a lot of them are still racist, and I don't want to tell my child to do anything that they shouldn't, blah, blah, blah. And you don't really know what to say. And then you decide, don't like the dad anymore. I'm squeezing him out of their life. So now you squeeze him out of their life, and the child is still suffering racism. Is still suffering an identity crisis, and now has no one to identify to. So no, you can identify to me. I'm your mum. can identify to me, I'm your mum, but you're not of color.
Yeah.
So there's a bit missing.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to stay missing.
Yeah.
And it happens to end up worse with the males than it does with the females.
Yeah.
And statistics prove that out.
Yeah.
When you look at criminal statistics, it proves that out, that it tends to stay worse with the males than it does with the females. But that identity crisis came from this baby mothers versus baby fathers syndrome.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want him. Nah.
Yeah,
and then some of the women even go as far as, well, I had a child for a black man, and black men are trash. They're crap. They're disgusting. And they even, speak racist things that child has to hear. And you go on and now have more children, but they're all for white men or a white man.
Yeah. Then that child is the only one in the whole family of color. And that's what they have to grow up in, some racist family who they know they don't like people of color. They don't like anybody who's black.
And then what will happen? You go to granddad's yard. I told you not to get involved with that black bastard.
Yeah.
I told you. And the child is there.
And playing.
And now this is hard because, like, now some people say, "Ooh, we don't want to talk about those type of things." Of course not. Truth. But this is the reality.
Yeah.
Let me give you a very short, small, interesting story that I laughed, and I still laugh when I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, when I was a prison officer, I worked with a Scottish guy called Jim. The fact that I've said Jim doesn't give anything away because lots of Scottish men are called Jim. Right? So this guy was as racist as they come.
Of course.
Now, he used to try very hard with me, and I'm talking, 30 years ago. And 30 years ago, if you bothered me too much, I'll buck out your nose. So he was really, with somebody like me, he tried his best to be
pushing to the edge.
He'd go to the edge, but he'd watch.
Yeah.
Because he knows that I would respond and react. But he couldn't, if you know, and I knew he was racist.
Yeah, he's a sly one.
And of course, one of the ways that I could tell was by his reaction, attitude, and behavior towards prisoners of color. So I used to just watch him with that all the time. So then I told him one day, anyway, I am who I am. So maybe God is the one who put it in my spirit. I told him, I said, you're going to regret this. So we're talking about, people are people, blah, blah, blah. It's going on like that. I said, I said, but me, I'd blow them up straight. I said, yeah, but you're racist. No, I'm not. I'm just, everybody has the right to choose what company they want. And all. He tried to justify and style it out. I said, no, you're racist. I asked him one straight question. It's like God put it in my spirit. What would you do if your daughter got with a black man?
Yeah.
He went as white as a sheep. I nearly passed out. But listen to the joke. Not only did his daughter start going out with a black man, she got pregnant and had a child.
Yeah, you see.
Right? And the man came to me and confessed to me and said that he didn't even know what to do. I laughed. He said he didn't know what to do. The daughter came to him and told him she's pregnant for her boyfriend, and he knew that his boyfriend is black. And he said, when the child was born, so he didn't have a choice. He had to accept his grandchild. Now, you see, he's now trying to show me that his thinking has altered. Why? Because now his bloodline has got some of our color in it.
Yeah.
But me, I just look at him and still see racist.
Yep.
You understand? Racist.
You only like your own, so you are still racist.
I don't see anything different.
Yeah. Angels put a comment here. Angel said the child is always black unless both parents are white, which is also interesting because now the child has to wonder what race has the superior gene, and it's no longer looking at the parents as dad and mum, but black or white. Mm-hmm. So it's a terrible battle for them to rid themselves of this black gene that is their identity. It's so sad. Y'all are highlighting an excellent ignored topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because not enough people speak about it.
Exactly. And people would say, how is this part of the baby mothers versus baby fathers? But it is, because the statistics show that where the biggest issue is in the mixed relationships,
Yeah.
right? And it carries on from the man and the woman to then on to the children in their schooling, the children in society, and so on. It's the biggest area where there is an issue, the identity crisis. And the identity crisis issue happens that even the parents themselves are having identity crisis, because some of the white women get with a black man because it's an exotic thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too deep down into that and get rude and rank, but just use your imagination. You understand me, right? I want a black man because A, B, C. Go on with that.
Yeah.
That's okay. But at the end of the day, you're playing with a human's life.
Yeah.
Because they get into it, then they're like, oh, I don't like this. You know, some of the English girls get in with a black guy, and then he's too strict, and and then I don't like that food, and
yeah. There's lots of people, they get with somebody who's of color, then they come into their family events, and when they're seeing
their nose is skin up.
I'm not hungry
because they don't like
this
the
is
food.
Real life story I'm talking about.
She can tell you
I'm not hungry. I said, do you want some food? We've got, there's say like traditional foods
for us, curry goat,
rice and peas, you know what I mean, proper things, hard food, dumpling.
Are you ever know curry goat sweet?
Exactly.
Sorry, I had to just say.
and the person is looking at the food. Oh no, I'm not hungry. Oh, I'm all right, thank you. I don't want any food. No. Yeah. Then when dessert is coming, that's of course then there's no culture thing. Of dessert in it.
Dessert is dessert
and whatever.
Cheesecake is cheesecake.
Yeah, exactly. Suddenly then, oh yes, I'll have some cheesecake. Suddenly then the cheesecake is sweetening you.
Yeah.
But the curry goat and rice and all that. Oh no,
curry chicken and then
too full. You ate before you.
And in the contrast, you go to an Englishman's party, and my belly is killing me with wind.
Yeah.
Because I'm yamming
a few
pork pie and where's something the names? Well, I wouldn't even eat it, but Scotch eggs and I don't even touch them, but they have all them things there.
Like a little food, as I
everything is cold.
Yeah,
you see me? Even
a lot
chicken.
Of the time.
We've got chicken. You go and look at the chicken is cold. I'm like, are they mad? The first time in my life I went to a white people's party, I nearly passed out. I'm sorry, but I'm just telling the truth.
Do you remember?
Right? Because I never knew.
Remember when I was young and we went to that swimming party? Yeah, it was a swimming party because you know how they used to have the swimming party. So Dad took me to this part because I was at his for the weekend. And that weekend he took me to this swimming party, and it was of this girl that was actually from a mixed household. So her mother was half white, half black, as they call it, and the father was full white. She also didn't understand her identity at all. She thought that she was white. She also thought that her mother was white, and actually started crying and proceeded to tell me off to the teachers because I flat out told her, your mother is not white. I think I was about 8 at this point or something. Because she was there, because my mum's white. And I said, no, she isn't. And she said, yes, she is. And I said, your mum, the lady who comes to pick you up with the curly hair. She said, yeah. I said, she's not white. I said, she's the same as my mum. She's not white. She started crying, hollering and all of this. And then the teachers were telling me off and all this rubbish. Yeah. Oh, just leave her, etc. So you can see the identity crisis was there. When we went to that, the food at that swimming party, disgusting. Yeah, it's all I can say. Like Dad said, cold chicken. And this is the first party I had really been to like that, where they had chicken, and I couldn't understand why it was cold. And I was thinking and I was asking is there
is there microwave?
Yeah. Because I was like,
because if it's us and there's no microwave, we'll bring one in the car and set it up.
Yeah. Exactly. Bring it into the place. Even my white family who are Italian, they're doing the same thing. The microwave is in the back of the car. Yeah. I'm ready to be plugged in at the hotel. Yeah. So I just I don't know why.
Lillian said, cold chicken and no color. And no color. Exactly. And that's for the kids. That's for the not even just the kids.
Yeah,
Everybody.
it was for everybody.
The worst one of all to me is that Scotch egg. Jesus! It's things like that that make me know I can't call myself English.
Yeah.
What is a Scotch egg?
Yeah.
What name, sir?
Egg rolled
up in some kind of.
That's what it is.
Jesus,
and
not sir.
Fried up.
Oh
but
God.
Even that, that is 100% an English creation.
Englishman thing.
They've had to think of to put things together because that's what a lot of English cooking is. Because of course, not that many things grow nicely here. You know what I mean? Because of the harsher weather and all of that, as it's got colder and things like that.
Yeah.
They have to make their dinners and you know what I mean.
That one, Scotch egg.
Nah,
no, sir.
I don't.
But
like
of a truth,
egg.
because I know we're laughing about it, but the reality is that when it comes to the thing, the baby mothers versus fathers, what we're saying in that respect of the sort of the color issue, because statistics show you that the mixed relationships are where the worst happenings are.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah,
because a lot of it is to do with the fact that those parents, particularly, not only, but particularly the white mothers, or white, they're in denial.
Yeah.
Oh no!
My child is white.
Or sometimes you have it the other way around. It will be the other one that's the black father or whatever, or the black mother.
Yeah.
Who's in denial, and they become some kind of coconut.
Yeah.
And it might be all right for them because they're an adult and they can balance being a coconut, but it doesn't really work very well for children, especially if they come from inner city type places.
Yeah.
Maybe in rural suburban areas, it might work for them.
Stuff.
In the villages where they might be the token blacks, there's one or two of them. They can probably be a coconut and get away with it.
Yeah.
But where the problem begins is when they're in a school where there is a good mixture.
Yeah.
All right. And this is all these type of things that parent. Now, this is my child, and I don't have to speak for her. She can tell you that I've spoken to them about every kind of eventuality and everything in school. But not all parents will do that because they can't be real about themselves.
Yeah.
So you've got some of the settings where you've got those children going to a school where there are mixed children, there are black children, there are white children, there are Asian. And now here comes this mixed child whose parents are already having their own conflict. Maybe the child lives with mum who is white. Dad doesn't live in the yard. Dad lives wherever he lives. Right? And there's a lot of ABC chit chat going on.
Yeah.
Right? And that child now comes to school. Their hair is not even dealt with properly.
Yeah.
Right? Because mum is ignorant. She won't speak to the dad.
Yeah.
Or any of his family
members.
Say, oh, okay, do you know anybody, any cousins that you've got or whatever who can do the child's hair? No. So the child comes to school with a bird nest.
Yeah.
Right? And those of us who know, we know. Children who are coming from mixed heritage, let me put it Jamaican vernacular, they head off. All right?
Yeah.
Those who know what I'm saying, they head off.
It's not easy hair to manage.
So they're coming now with their bird nest hair. Then you got little things like maybe swimming.
Yeah.
And all that. They're going swimming. They're
not even covering their hair.
Their head is not covered because they're white.
Plaited.
They're white.
They don't know any different. And they don't choose to engage in the culture and learn. And
that's the fault of the parenting. Oh, mum is white. And sometimes poor dad is trying to interject in there because dad might see the child whenever he sees, and he's like, this don't look right. What's going on? Her hair doesn't look right.
Take her to the salon. My child is not getting braids. They're not black.
And mum starts with her fear, and they're at this loggerheads. You see, these kind of things. After swimming, she needs to put some grease on her skin. No, she doesn't. Yeah, I don't put any on mine.
My skin's fine.
Nothing shows.
I only put it on sometimes.
Yeah,
because that's what another thing.
When I'm going out.
Yeah. Do you grease your child's skin? Do you put cream on it? Oh, sometimes. No, there's no sometimes. It needs to be every time. Yeah. What sort of rubbish? Children, when you see anyway. You see the difference between the children of color whose parents are creaming them and whose parents are not. Their skin starts to look scaly. Yeah, from young. Yeah, and that's not a good thing.
Oh.
You know it's true, man. And I even say, even children in my family, I'm not even going to name any names. Yeah, but there are few parents who are not creaming them
Lord,
enough.
help me, Jesus.
And I tell them, get the cream, yeah, and bring it.
I'm sorry, but it's the absolute truth. I don't,
Yeah,
you know.
it's reality.
I know I'm laughing, but it is like that because you know, as a child,
Mm.
going to school amongst white people and so forth, you'll have your sports, whatever.
Yeah.
You'll go in your shower. They come out, bam. They're getting dressed. They're
Yeah.
putting on their clothes, and the teachers are like, "Oh, everybody, hurry up, blah
Yeah,
blah blah."
You take it too long.
Well, I used to get cream from home,
Mhm.
and I have the cream, and I have to cream my skin.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
as simple as that.
Yeah.
Now there was a boy in my school year who was with white people, so my man's skin looked like it was
Ash.
rusty like a rhinoceros, right? So I had to be there cussing him
Yeah,
because there was no other way that I could really, you know, I had to tell him straight. What's that? You should watch.
Anita said you should watch Colin Kaepernick in black and white on
Netflix. I've heard
I'll
about
have to
it.
check that. I think I've heard of it as well.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had to tell him because his skin was rusty like a rhinoceros.
And that's
And
someone who's not been
I'm like,
educated.
yo, my friend, you can't be representing us looking like
And
that.
he was what, adopted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, no. I said, what? And because you see, that's the other thing, that little side of it, the adoption issue, nobody wants to touch that.
In it.
They don't want to touch that at all. But I'm bringing it under this baby mothers and baby fathers because it still is.
Yeah, it still is.
Right? Because obviously something had gone on
Yep.
and gone wrong with
the
his
mothers
with
and the
his
fathers.
original family.
Yeah.
Why he ended up being adopted maybe by totally white people.
Yeah.
Now he may turn around and say, "Now, well, the good thing that came out of it, you know, I got a very good Cambridge accent from it."
Yeah.
Okay, fine. You got a good Cambridge accent. You had hair that looked like someone had dug up outside and thrown it back down. Your skin looked like a rhinoceros.
Yeah.
And then you're walking, strutting around like you're representing us.
Mm-hmm.
It's not right.
No.
And the thing is that then, you know, when you have this mixed madness with the parenting,
Yeah.
you go home and you'll say something. No, my child is
rubbish.
absolutely fine. Nonsense, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And this is the type of thing you get. You see? And what are you gonna do? Oh well, you know, school is just the way it is. But there's some serious things. Read it. Well,
let's see. Anita said, "I was told by my grandchild's mother's new white boyfriend that I can see my grandchild, but can we keep it quiet that I'm her grandmother, as they don't want her to know she has a black grandmother."
Hey, hello.
Are they crazy?
Are they mad?
Yeah, how can you deny? And this is exactly what we're talking about, right? Imagine keep it quiet that you're her grandmother. Yeah, what rubbish. Yeah, and this is the reality.
But
where they don't want this, because even like I'm saying, the mothers, like I was talking about my friend, the mothers will be saying, "Oh no, don't bother to engage them with the father's family. It's not necessary."
Not necessary.
Yeah, or vice versa. Don't bother to engage them with the mother's family. It's not necessary because they don't want the mixing of the cultures. But it's already there.
That's
the child
right.
is produced.
And here's something else that excuse me, that people don't want to accept or talk about. You see, in the case of, for instance, a mixed young man who decides to pick a white woman. And it happens quite often.
Yep.
And why does it happen? I'm going to tell you my personal view. And like I said, drop in the comments if you disagree. Yeah. I'm ready for you. My personal view, a lot of those mixed guys pick a white woman when they have a white mother.
Yeah. And it's the truth.
Because they identify with the white mother and they identify now with this white girlfriend or white wife.
Yeah.
But here's the funny thing. But they might be still very well involved with the black side of family as well. You know, in terms of culture, food, and all of those type of things. And they may even be very much more into
Yeah,
That's
the culture.
so now they pick this white wife
Mm.
because they identify. Oh, she looks like that's like my
Reminds
mum.
me of my mum. Yeah.
You know, so they marry this white woman, and then them on yam fish and chips.
Yeah, for real.
You know, I mean I'm being blasé, but everything changes.
Yeah,
you know,
but it's true. And then all of a sudden they don't really care to integrate their child into the culture.
They're into all different stuff. Oh, I don't blah de blah de blah. And then the funny thing about it, as their child grows, sometimes that child might start off with less colour. But as the child grows, the colour starts kicking
Colour
in.
deepens, yeah.
You understand? It starts kicking in. But now they're like, oh well, even my dad is like, oh, mixed. My granny is white. My mum is white. Yeah, but never mind. You've still got colour on you. Right? And then they suddenly find out that society realizes that they've got colour as well.
Yeah.
See? But the family, because they're all in denial, they're not teaching the children the right things anyway.
Well, they think that they can pass as white, so they don't need to tell them anything. Because I feel like that's a lot of times that's the case as well, where it's like, say maybe they're a bit lighter, or maybe even they're similar color to me or a bit lighter, but their hair is more of a white texture. So then they're racially racially ambiguous, as they call it now. That's the term that's used now, racially ambiguous.
And all of that is a lie, because there's no such
it's
thing.
Still that they're not white.
Because you're still going to look back at the culture even, and that's where you're going to see, where it comes from. I've seen Simone's comments. What about?
She said, "What about black men that only go for white women?" Well,
same sort of story.
Yeah.
Again, all to do with identity crisis.
Yeah.
Because you'll find that a lot of the black men who only go for white women are the ones who are more well off.
Yeah.
And why? Because they've got this mindset. Oh, the black girls are going to be too ghetto.
Yeah.
They're going to be too wild. They're going to be too much hard work. They're going to be too hardcore. And even, when I go out in society, I look a bit more acceptable with this white woman on my arm. And so you find rich footballers and TV presenters and all these type of guys with their white women. Now, listen to this. I don't care if you choose to marry black, white, orange, pink, or blue, if there were such. That is your business. But when you are doing it deliberately for an agenda, you're wrong. And that's what we're talking about. Marry who you like who you like, love who you like. But when you've done it because, this one is a better platform for me and all of this, well, you're just wrong. And your children will end up with identity crisis. And they do.
Yeah, that's what
they do.
There's only a few, that few portion of, let's say, who have white mothers. There's a small portion of children and people who have grown up in that mixed family household. They have a white mother, but they still are involved with their culture and are fully involved. They know that they're not a white person. And that's only a small factor because, there are some mothers, like we said, who are not getting with somebody for an agenda. They've got with somebody who's darker skinned or black because that's just who they happen to have a child with. Nothing to do with the skin tone. And they accept that that's what their child is. And they involve their child in the culture fully. Yeah, they are the ones that are doing the correct job. What's
Angel's comment is nice, man.
They will know that they've got black identity when they get married into the royal family. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look at Meghan, Miss I'm white. Are you? Yeah. The queen has let you know that you are not.
That's right. them people there, they let you know straight away.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. And they couldn't wait to dash out my man from the royal family.
About me and Zach, I was just speaking about this last night about no security. So even they wanted them to be dead.
They want them to be dead.
Yeah, you must die, and then the mixed blood can end there. Yeah, that's what they wanted. That's why we're removing your security. Yeah. So
you got to understand, going way back up top on this, that when a couple are together, a black man and a black woman, for instance, and the woman says, you, I'm calling the police. They are coming immediately.
Yeah.
Because they really, really, really want to see the erosion of that family.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming immediately.
Yeah.
And they'll be telling him, get out of your house, and that's it, you can't go back.
Mm-hmm.
Don't speak to your wife, don't speak to your children, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They want to see it.
Yeah.
I can tell you there was a man, this is not domestic violence, but this is to do with the children now.
Mm.
Black man, black woman. Rude child, the man licked the picnic.
Of course.
Yeah? You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow the child has gone to school. Facts.
Yeah.
The child has gone to school, blah, 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 and said something. Because now it is a black man, big black man, boy, police, everybody have to be involved.
Of course.
Social services have to be called. Social services rang the man's job. The man must be released from his work. He must go for parenting skills and I don't know what, because he spanked his child. Now you may say, no, spanking is wrong and you shouldn't do it and blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. That's your choice. Because, again, that's your business. Right? But you can't tell people
that he's an abuser.
That he's an abuser because of that, because that ain't what we're talking about. There's a big difference. But they've tried to make Gaga kiss my teeth.
Yeah.
But they tried to make the whole thing the same.
Yeah.
And here's what you have to understand about that as well. There are many young people who they will tell you, oh, don't do anything, don't smack them, don't discipline them, blah, 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 just X, Y, and Z. But what they'll do is that they'll wait until when it gets to a point where they have to remove them from the family, right? They remove them from the family into social services care. Police, even when they're coming, police will conk them up and do whatever they're doing. I'll give you an example. I love stories because stories are reality.
Yeah.
I was working as a residential social worker. So I was working in a home. And in this home at the time, there were only 2 children. There was a black boy of, he was coming up to 15 years old, and a white girl of 14.
Teenagers.
No, so teenagers, right at that age where they are obnoxious.
Yeah, rank.
So the first thing, the little boy every night. No, sorry, there were 3 children in that house. Sorry, I forgot there was a Somali boy there as well.
Yeah.
So at night time, that boy is visiting the girl's bedroom.
Cool.
So, and what we used to do, the shifts we work at night time, everybody sleeps. There's no waking night as such. What it is that if the staff had to wake up and stay awake, you would be paid differently. But you would just go to bed. So, there was a place for the staff to sleep. And then the young people got to their thing. And otherwise, then if not, there'll be one person who will sit in the office. A night person. So they're not really engaged. So that's why I say it wasn't really a night worker per se. They were just there for emergencies.
Security,
sat in the office. So the boy's visiting the girl's bedroom, and you don't have to ask me what he's visiting for. So we've reported him. Have you got any proof?
What more proof is it?
Right now, I'm thinking, if they were in my yard, my house,
would they be going to each other's
right
room at night?
What am I going to be asking about proof and I don't know what? Because what am I waiting for till I see a big belly push out here, and then I say, oh, that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
But that's what social services are telling me.
And imagine in your own house, parents still till now will say, oh, no, you're not sleeping in the same bedroom. Why not then? If there's no evidence of anything.
And they took that boy away from his mum. No, mum can't cope with him. I don't know what. Took him away. And they've got him there and they think he's better off doing whatever he wants.
Yeah.
So now I tried to talk to him because he looks like me.
Of course.
So I took him one side and I'm saying, yo, don't talk to me. I don't know what. You're not my dad. Blah, blah. I said, I know. So I'm not even trying to be. I said, but I'm here to look after you. So you know, you have to try your bit. You have to talk and say what you
Yeah.
say. But now here's the thing. Oh well, nobody can't do anything to me here. Nobody can't touch me. Blah de blah de blah. So he knew. He
So
knew.
he knew.
He knew the system.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, there's no problem. There's no problem. But you know that if you misbehave yourself too much, they will call the police. I warned him. I told him.
Yeah.
I cajoled him. No, he doesn't care. You can't tell him anything. Blah de blah de blah. A white member of staff came there. He threw soup at him.
Mm-mm.
Not, thank God it wasn't boiling hot,
Yeah.
because we'd
Oh
already
my
learnt with them that when they ask for anything, they was never getting it hot.
Yeah, because they'll
Or
try
they-
to dash it.
So he threw soup at the guy. He then decided, don't tell me what to do. Ploo! And spat in his face.
Boy.
Said, no, I'm not taking any more of this. I'm calling the police. So I warned that boy. I said, listen, I said, I'm going to tell you something. And we were in the sticks.
Yeah.
We were not in a city. I'm not going to say where we were, but we were in the sticks. We were in white man's land. Right? I said, yo, my friend. I said, this is white man territory where we are.
Yeah.
I said, you need to cool yourself down. I said, you look like me. I know what I've been through. I said, when the police come, I said, they're not going to be nice like we have.
No.
I said, they're going to conk you up. Nah, blah, blah. No,
Especially with your mouth.
I'm a teenager. I don't know what. Nobody can't do anything to me. Blah, de, blah, de, blah. Now, you know, so he wouldn't hear. When the police came, and he started blah, 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 screaming and shouting at the police, flew in the police, at the policeman.
Oh, boy.
The
Restrained.
way how they dealt with him.
Flung him down.
And they dealt with him a bit nicer, because the rest of we were there.
We were there watching.
You know, there were some workers there, because they said, no, we're taking you to the station. And the boy told me when they took him to the station, they treated him like a dog.
Yeah.
He weed on himself. So you can imagine how they treated him there.
Yeah.
And I told him, I warned you.
Mm-hmm.
But you see now, when you have this baby mothers versus baby fathers syndrome, none of this conversation can go on properly. Because when they even become a so-called, now the state or the government becomes their parent, it's worse.
It's already too late.
You know,
sometimes.
Read what Angel said. And it's worse.
Angel said parents should not spank their kids, but the police can beat the kids up to bring them to obedience.
Oh,
I tell you, lots of nonsense. And then Lillian said, absolute rubbish.
Yeah,
it's true.
Because that's what it is.
Because that's the reality, isn't it?
And you're having, unfortunately, sorry, but it's the truth is the truth. This is where I said that it seems like I'm picking on the mixed relationship thing, but I'm doing it because that's where the biggest issue is. And then I'm going to say what the other big issue is before we close off anyway.
Yeah.
Right. But the issue there, you'll have a white mother. Don't touch my child.
Yeah.
Don't spank my child. Don't grab up my child. Don't discipline my child. So you've got some child that's ranking up themselves with a black parent, and he's not having it.
Yeah.
Because these are some of the reasons why hi, with a white woman, no sir.
Yeah.
Not very easily.
Yeah, not very easily.
And it's got nothing to do with her color.
No.
Culture is
culture,
the issue.
Yeah.
Main. So let me dial it back and say English would be a problem.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones who'll be telling me the child can cuss me out,
and you just have
to swear at me, and you have to just get to your room, bring me your PlayStation. What? Let one of my children swear at me and see if they have any lips left. That's what I want to know.
Boy, could you imagine? Yeah, but that's the truth. Because even like a lot of the thing is, even you notice anyway that the only English ones that have like say mixed children and they beat them, they are come from those rare English families that were beating them as well. Yeah, that's the only.
That's right.
The only instance.
Exactly.
Otherwise, not at all.
No, and they're then going to be telling you,
you're an abuser.
Don't touch my child. you're abusive, you're violent,
Yeah.
and blah blah blah. And if you do it, I'm calling the police. And this is where it starts,
Yeah.
because then the child even sometimes will side with mummy against daddy. Oh,
Yeah.
my dad's black, my mum's white, I'm white,
Yeah.
so I can behave like this.
Yeah.
And then dad's like, behave like that, come here.
Mhm.
And then I'm calling the police.
Yeah.
Yes, call the police. They call the police. Dad is an abuser. Bam,
Yeah.
he's out of the house.
He's out of the house. Yeah.
Erosion of relationship between the child and the father.
Yeah.
And they love it.
Yeah.
They love it. Read what they put.
Anita said you should have your own chat show, and Angel said yes, indeed.
Well, 2022, watch something new will be coming, because it's something that we were supposed to be planning to do. We didn't really. The lockdown shut us down a bit from
shut
that.
us down from our plans, didn't they?
Because we wanted to take this to another level.
Yeah.
And be
More
probably maybe
interactive.
once a month,
Mhm.
bring people in, and we'll actually, use a camera and we'll spin round and have more people. So we're planning
Yeah.
on looking at something like that.
Yeah. To discuss it a bit more.
Mm.
But even, what you were saying about, with the disciplining the children, that's even now, like, especially in America, that's even now coming into the colored families as well, where because they got beat and they have now been conditioned, to believe, oh, because I got some beatings for doing bad things when I was young, I was traumatized and abused.
Yeah.
And so now I have problems.
And it reminds us of slavery.
Yeah. And it's only slavery, so therefore you shouldn't discipline your child that way at all. But then instead, what's happening? Yeah.
They can just do what they want and say what they want.
And Super Nanny is making lots of money.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
And that's the truth.
And then they're giving them drugs to shut them down.
Yes. Oh, she must have
listen.
that.
I told my children one time, and I'm going to do it again. You see, one of the best drugs that there is. Everybody see that? It's one of the best drugs in the world. Yeah, this one is one of the best drugs. I don't need to give my child antidepressants, Ritalin, or any other thing. This here is a very good drug. Let me tell you.
They won't sit down and listen.
Fantastic one.
Okay.
We'll
see. Yeah. The same thing, even in my family, dad already knows the same thing as children. I don't care. Yeah. If you're gonna be rude, then I'm gonna smack your bum. And whether your mum likes it or not, I ain't interested. Yeah, and I'm not bothered. She can tell me off if she likes. It's already been done now. It's simple as that.
Listen, let me tell you straight.
Lillian said, "Lovely job. It works. Best drugs."
I'm telling you. Listen, people can say what they want. There's it needs you can't this and it must be this and it must be that. They need to they're not well. Listen, I will solve your not wellness with this. That's what I'm showing you.
When you get a few of them, you're gonna see how fast the child is.
You'll suddenly realize
their dinner.
Yeah,
and all them rubbish. Like I was
I
showing
don't want to eat.
last night. The child is there, 19 months old, running the household like it's his yard. Oh, the mum, they're cooking nice dinners, proper dinners.
Don't want it.
Everything. He's flinging the plate off, flinging the dinner off on the floor. And then what is the mum going and doing? Going down the chip shop and getting him chicken nugget and chips. And then he's eating happy, smiling.
So he must be telling them what to do.
Yeah, so he's in there telling them what to do. You think, listen.
And that's just the beginning.
Yeah, and bed.
And the conflict between the parents can come right there.
Yeah.
But you see, me, I don't have time for that.
Exactly.
And what Angel said, that the police can take their time and beat up your children, but you're not allowed to. Well, I used to work as a prison officer, so I'm not telling stories about what I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? I have seen some things in prison. Right? And I worked in prison back in the day when prison was prison, not like now, where it's soft. Right? When I worked in prison, it was prison. The English prisons now are soft. Back in the day when I worked in there, it was rough.
Yeah.
Right? Now, let me tell you, I have seen a guy of color, let's put it that way. That's the best way I can term it. He did something, and they decided we need to move him from his room, and we need to take him down and take him to segregation. And he said, "No, I'm not going." So they decided they need to grip him up. I saw them bounce his head off every step, boop, 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 coming all the way down the stairs until I had to stop them. And we're talking concrete steps. And he was a young man of color. There was another guy there, big, powerful, muscular guy. All the white officers are scared of him. We can't talk to him. If we have to go in to see him, we need a 5-man unlock and all of this. I said, why?
Yeah.
And they forgot themselves. I'm going to tell you word for word what they said, because they forgot who I was, because I was just an officer that day in their head. He's a big black bastard. That was the wording that they used. Right? And this is what I'm saying. Now, what their mindset was, that people like that must be beaten.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to go in and tell you all the stories of every little thing that I've seen and you know, but they don't joke. They will beat them. Yeah. But they're telling you long before your son will get anywhere close to that, you can't even flick them on their ears. Well, I'll be flicking.
Yeah, so will I.
You know, children, grandchildren, they know I don't ramp.
Yeah, what rubbish.
Right? Because what do I have to do? Wait till they get to prison and they're locked up in there.
Yeah.
And then the governor will be trampling on their testicles even.
Yeah.
Right? Because I've seen that too.
Out their heads.
Right? And then what? What can you say?
Yeah. And you can't say, "Oh, don't beat my
calling
child."
them you big black bastard and all of these things.
But when your child was ranking up themselves in your yard, you couldn't give them a beating. Yeah, we don't need
to wait to subject our children to that. And so I'm not saying, but you see, when there's this versus business, and a lot of it comes from that.
Yeah, as well. Yeah, the discipline of the child.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
the discipline is an issue. The other large area where we have a problem is white women.
Yeah.
And it's the drunkard ones. And we have enough of them around. So what happens is that they often are ringing and falsely accusing of domestic violence.
Yeah.
And a lot of those girls, the addict ones, you know, addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol, they're making 5 and 6 children.
Yeah.
You see?
With all different
with all different men. Excuse me.
All different coloured children.
Some of them are prostituting themselves.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it, as in a lot of cases, it takes almost forever before they will take away those children from that white mother.
Yeah. This is
She's thing. Up and down doing the most rubbish.
The
children are still there.
Yeah. You beat your child one time and your child goes to school. You can't even collect them from school. They're already gone. Yeah. But when a mother is there, they're neglecting them. They're not even cleaning their bed. Yeah. Cleaning their bed sheets or looking up, cleaning their nappy often enough, bathing them often enough. Nobody is batting an eyelid.
No.
Yeah. They're not even feeding them enough dinner. They're feeding them just a small amount of food, because they want to use their money for partying and whatever. Nobody is looking or batting an eyelid.
They're getting away with it.
Yeah. But me, because I slapped my daughter, now, I must go through supervised visit to see my daughter because she told the school that I slapped her when she was ruding up herself in the yard. But I'm not doing anything else wrong. When they've come, even her bedroom, everywhere is clean. There's food. She has clothes, everything she needs. But because I disciplined her in the way that the government is telling me I'm not allowed, now my child must be taken away. Yeah, or in the terms of the dad, then the dad cannot see the child anymore. What rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the reality of what's going on now. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, you see, when it comes to this whole, you know, versus fathers versus mothers, it's not just, you know, we spoke obviously about the mixed relationships, and there's some serious difficulties there, but they pick vulnerable people also, and they really treat them badly.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely. And this is the issue, that they don't treat them well; they treat them badly. we're going to finish soon anyway. I'll
Yeah.
give you an example. There was a young lady, African descent, who got pregnant. Now, this is also an issue because you've got some very ignorant families, especially from our cultures.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're pretending to be very wonderful Christians, you know,
Yeah.
those type. So their daughter obviously wasn't as wonderful a Christian as they thought because suddenly she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Right? So she's gotten pregnant and she's had her child. They've kicked her out the yard.
To go where?
But they didn't realise that, you know, they've also brought her up in a certain way. So she's a bit of a div.
No.
Let me put it in my
Yeah.
vernacular. You know, she's a div.
Mm.
So now
Yeah.
they're like, well, we don't care. Don't speak to us. We're not interested.
your
Blah,
thing.
blah, blah, blah. But they're Christians, remember?
Yeah.
So she ended up going into a sort of a type of a hostel.
Yeah, which is where they usually send them.
What it was a place that was run by a particular organisation. They were being paid a lot of money, not just for her alone, but for the people they had.
Yeah.
And basically, what it was, they had, I think in that big house, there were 8 independent rooms. So the rooms were like self-contained, and then they just had, then they would have somebody sit down on the sort of reception so that they would know when people are coming and going. And that was their sort of thing. It's supposed to be supported.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which means that they are supposed to go to her place,
Mm-hmm.
maybe knock on her door, how are you doing,
Okay,
what's going
sounds
on, and just so come in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, so they can have a little look around, make sure the baby is okay, make sure she's okay, make sure the place is clean enough, and they leave.
Mm-hmm.
But they're only leaving to go back downstairs, kind
Yeah.
of thing. And when anybody's coming and going, somebody will see them because they have to sign in and out.
Yeah, so they can't just be bringing people into the place and.
That's right. So, like I said, she's African,
Mm,
and this place is in a white man land
of course.
in the UK.
That's how it usually is anyway with those places.
So it's the middle of nowhere. So she decides she needs to go from there. She needs to go and find her people who look like her, and she wants to go to a party. But she had a young baby.
Yeah.
I remember she's got no family connection. Social services are in charge of her life now, and they, according to them, have become her family.
Yeah.
And social services, that's what I have to say about them. And don't make me say it further, right? I don't want to get into nothing about them more than what I'm saying on this story. But I don't have even this much time for social services. Trust me, I don't.
Yeah. Especially we're talking the top. We're not talking the workers and who are nice people.
Yeah, we're talking about the bosses who are making all the policies.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, okay, so they've left her there. Oh, well, we've seen her coming and going. They're not taking any notice of whether she's coming and going with the baby or not. So, and they're not doing any checks. They're not checking up on her. And you know why? Because she's a black African and this is white man's land. She's all right where she is.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't know nothing about what she eats or what she does or anything. And probably the girl eats Englishman's food anyway.
Probably, yeah.
You know, but this is the problem, you see. So what happened now? She decided she's going to a party. The party wasn't even in the same city. It was miles away. She's left the baby and for 2 days. So according to her, she's probably like put 3 bottles there or something.
Yeah.
The baby must sup out the bottles and stay there.
Yeah.
So anyway, the baby died.
She's thinking, oh, somebody will go and look eventually.
The baby died.
Of course. See?
Right? Because she was away for like a whole long weekend. So like probably 3 days in total or something.
Yeah.
She was away. So when you come back, the baby has died.
Of course.
And now it's become a big thing and she should be prosecuted and she should be this and she should be that.
So should they.
Well, so should they. They should all be prosecuted. Every single one of them should all lose their money.
Yeah.
And they should also remember that she's vulnerable.
Yeah. Where was your support when she was in that place living there? Why was nobody asking her questions or checking up on her, seeing what she's doing? And why was nobody speaking to her to make her understand that what she wanted to do was not correct at that time?
No, there was nothing. They were just earning the money.
Yeah.
And you see, again, this comes back to the whole family unit setting. You know, this is where the issue is, the family unit setting.
Yeah.
Oh, she got pregnant, get out. But you're
What
good. But you're
rubbish.
good Christians.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
You can't change it now that she's pregnant. You kicking her out is not going to vanish the baby away. And I think that's what a lot of these Christian families need to understand, that disowning is not vanishing the problem away. Or suddenly then your grandchild will no longer exist because you banished them.
So that family, yeah, exactly. That family have now lost a child, a daughter, and a grandchild.
Yeah.
Because of their stupidity. So anyway, we're going to finish it there.
Yeah.
We have enjoyed the input very much.
It was a good one today.
And I enjoyed what we talked about. Next week is Christmas week, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
And so I am going to give us a controversial topic for next Tuesday. Controversial to some, anyway. And it's just a question, really. Should we celebrate Christmas or not?
Well,
and we'll dig it.
I'm ready for that one. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Yeah. Angel said Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Angel.
Yeah, so that's my question. Should we celebrate Christmas or not? So we're going to talk about things like the Christmas tree. And
I've been thinking about that a lot actually recently. Funnily enough, clearly I already knew the new topic.
It was in the spirit.
Yeah.
So I hope we get some good input next week Tuesday.
I do too. Hopefully, because it's a juicy one.
Yeah, we will advertise it. And thank you very much for your input. We enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Lillian. Thank you, Angel.
Thank you, everyone, for
and
joining
the others.
us today.
God bless. See you next time.
Next week.
Yeah, it was enough.